is Bob's bio that Mo sent us. So Bob brings a wealth of experience in all aspects of the game of soccer, most importantly as a referee and referee assigner. He's currently the director of officiating for Impact Soccer Club. This includes recruiting, training, observing, mentoring, and upgrading referees. One of his main proposals is to assign referees to match qualified officials at the appropriate level of games. Sabella's story goes, was born from my Italian's mother womb playing soccer. He has hundreds of games from 1986 until his retirement in 2004. He worked in the United States Soccer Federation, including 8 years as a national referee in both the men's MLS and women's WUSA professional leagues. He worked 10 years as a college referee. He also officiated in FIFA international games, national team and club team. He earned his USSF D and E coaching licenses in 2006. He's a 2010 USSF national assigner, and for over 5 years he's been reviewing referees to allow only the most qualified to the national program. He hopes to elevate the officiating level, and the soccer level as a whole, as well as generating additional interest without sacrificing the safety of the players. He's a current USSF national referee coach. He's the director of training for the CNRA Referee Academy, so the California North Referee Association. Is that correct? CNRA. USSF National Referee Emeritus, and NISOA National Referee Emeritus. So big round of applause for Bob.
Thank you guys all for coming today. Really appreciate it. The topic and the most important thing about today is the referees, the controversial word of referees. We are as controversial as offside. So, but that's the bad news for you, but we also have good news. We are the typical yin and yang. We are the main reason why your teams lose. Have you ever heard a coach losing not because of the referee? They always lose because of the referee. Very strange. The coaches never do any mistakes. You know, it just happened to be the referee that day. Anyway, yeah, the whole idea here is we want to be having fun with this. We're going to take it and have fun and see how can we really build a healthy program. All this introduction that he gave you or whatever, yeah, sure, it sounds good and everything, yes. But it is very important, we found out, to know that the source where you're getting information on is legit and very experienced. So we seem, I did training for 5 years for CNRA. I finished. I'm no longer there. Instead, now I'm the director of training for NorCal. Mo Shafai is the director of referees at NorCal and doing a great job at it. There's over 1,000 clubs that he has to take care of. And I apologize on his behalf because he was supposed to do this for you. His mother-in-law just passed away on the East Coast and he had to leave. So I'm here replacing him with this. He called me after my tenure with Cal North of training for 5 years. We had a big program going in 9 different areas of Cal North. It's a huge area. And after 5 years, I said enough. But a couple of months later, I get a phone call from Mo, let's talk. So here I am, director of training for referees at NorCal. So I work very closely with Mo. Our intentions are very strong, along with NorCal policy, to strengthen the referee program and really come up with certain things. We started a few months back, and we started with 64 members of different clubs so that I mentor them and they go mentor their local clubs. Think about that. We have over 1,000 clubs. I have 64 guys. Are you kidding? What's missing? And then, what's your main one complaints from your coaches? That referee yesterday screwed us up, you know. Hey, I'm gonna meet you. I put my hand out, but if you don't reach out, how are we gonna shake hands? Please go back to your clubs and encourage them to extend that other arm. Communication is 2 ways. If I talk like this to the wall, I have no reception. Communication. Talk to me. Okay? And here's the thing. NorCal is so committed committed that we are willing to send coaches to your home, wherever you are. Chico, I heard Reading, I heard San Francisco. NorCal is willing to send instructors and stuff all the way to you to teach you at home. You don't have to travel. But you have to ask for it, and you have to communicate with us. That's the main thing. Participation is required. It doesn't happen on its own. Now let me see here. When it comes, and I am the director of referees for Impact Soccer Club in Brentwood. So I know how it goes in the board, and I know how director of coaching goes in the locals. And let me tell you right now, I've been to many other local clubs and many other meetings. 90% of them, I promise you, when it comes to referees, not important. They mainly focus on coaches, coaching staff, how many kids gonna be playing for us. They are focused on major things, and I give them that. But referees, well, guess what? USSF Soccer, FIFA, and NorCal, in NorCal policy, saying no game will be counted without at least one referee in the game. It won't count. So all the work that you do in your club and everything that you do with your kids and coaches and spending money, and you don't focus on ref, that's the main item that makes you legit. Think about that. Why are we, referees, oh yeah, we'll talk about them later. We'll mention them later. There's no game will be counted, none. All your work is zero. Work with me. Now, since I just told you no games will be counted unless you have refs, that's one of the problems. Let's get the right refs for the game. Many clubs are so focused about having people in the game. And or they count, I have 30 games this weekend, but I have 60 referees on file. I'm good. I can get them a couple of games stuff. What 60 referees do you have? 41 of them just graduated last month from a class. And you have NPL games and whatever games you have. This is a major problem. When you hear about problem from your coaches, is referees assigned to the wrong games. Yes, you have refs. Yes, they fill in the block, but that's the wrong block. Refereeing is a pyramid. That's the best way I can tell it to you. I reached the top in this country that this country has to offer. I also have Alberto Marin, one of my brothers that was with me at the national account for at least 8 years. Anyway, and it's a pyramid built from down, new refs, then refs that have been there for 50 years but don't want to go anywhere, then refs that want to move a little bit, then refs and so on, till you reach the top. And if we just stay at the bottom, there is no pyramid, it's a flat. To build the pyramid, you gotta go this way. And the training and development have to go together. And in order to get to the top, me and Mushafai now are working on a program. Somebody said about traveling and going overseas. We are working very closely with an Italian friend of ours who is the assigner in Europe for tournaments in Europe, in Paris, France, in Italy, in England. And they were just here visiting us at Davis. Last week we had the NorCal finals, and they were here. 18 refs from different countries were working in our games, on our game. We're gonna do the same to them. And you think why it's so important to mix with the world? I teach referees also. I'm an instructor and I'm instruct the instructors. And let me tell you right now, you're probably gonna be as surprised as ever. Every class I ever taught, and I taught thousands of new refs, I asked one simple question. Are nets required in the game? All my life, I am here to tell you, not once I see not a raise of hand. They all raise their hand. They think nets are required to play a game. And my thing to you is, we'll travel the world. 90% of the world plays with no nets. You are very lucky. You are in the most richest country and state in the world called Northern California or California. So as simple as that, they don't know. So you would think what's so important about mixing, traveling, doing things. Okay? So they don't even know the simple basic of the law. Nets are not required. But you don't want to talk about refs, and you don't want to hire refs, and you don't care. Oh, refs, later. Let's worry about coaching and playing. Think. It's a teamwork. The best way I can tell it to you is this way. I'm a retired pilot. Officially, I was a pilot for Japan Airlines before I retired. Before I was with Japan Airlines, I was with U.S. carriers, several of them. But anyway, a couple of them. And I want to tell you something right now. We pilots thought there is no airline without pilots. Why? You know how much money it costed my dad to send me to pilot school? It cost lots of money, lots of training, and we felt like we are the elite. Without us, there is no airline. Guess what? During my years under this thing, the mechanics took a strike. Was there an airline? Hold on. Flight attendants took a strike. Was there an airline? Hold on. Ground staff took a strike. Was there an airline? So sometimes you think too much of yourself. You think, I'm director of coaching in the club. Coaches that are getting paid are the most important thing, and the kids. So sometimes you're carrying your own camera and you think you're the most important guy, not realizing. I honestly did not realize how important is teamwork till I joined Japan Airlines. Japan Airlines was education to me. It taught me that nothing you can do in this world without a team that will work good. You can do things on your own, but won't work good. But if you think team in every aspect, then it's a puzzle that you can build and you can think. And every team member is just as important as the other. It's a wheel. The pilot wheel, the flight attendant's wheel, the mechanic wheel. It's wheels. If you don't think about it like this, I heard some people here talking about change of culture. I'm here to change your culture of thinking about race. You need to start changing your culture. Okay? Because I promise you, you're not going to have the club or the successful club that you think you will have. Many times we walk around, oh, I'm doing good. Don't do that. It's teamwork. Carry the camera at all the members and put the puzzle together. Work as a team. Don't forget referees. So let's see what it's going to take about those guys that make you lose your game. So again, it isn't about, you notice we put the word successful referee program. A referee program can be built simply by getting referees, put them in the class and giving them license. And nowadays, it takes 9 hours, a total of 9 hours training to become a referee. 9 hours, and then you have a referee license. How much those referees can serve your NPL program or your older age group? How much? 0? Well, maybe a little bit more than 0. +1 out of 100. Why? Because they have a license. Legally, they can stand there. But the game is not going to be anywhere as good. So successful is very, very important. And we are saying it has to be between board of directors to have a... That's funny. It's really strange to me. I was amazed how many times I went to board of directors, sat there, and the referee subject comes, it's scheduled for the last 5 minutes of any meeting. And like, if we get to it, we get to it. If we don't, oh well, forget about it today. But yet, you all know, in NorCal itself, not only says you have to have a referee, it says you can't even ref with 2 refs. You either gotta have 1 or 3. So there is specific thing about when your game counts. And the game will not count unless it's done that way. None of them says your game will count with no referee. And not only for NorCal, any place on earth. And referees, it is the job of making mistakes. When they come in to become referees, I ask them, who's scared to make mistakes? They're all scared to make mistakes. I tell them, maybe you're in the wrong place. This is the place to make mistakes. That's the only thing I can guarantee you is you will make mistakes, not maybe. Why? Too many laws, too many rules, and too many things. So we seem to, and our education was to educate them with the laws of the game and with what should they know and shouldn't they know about the laws of the game. And guess what? We have people, I have people, professional soccer player in some of my classes, were ex-professional soccer players. And they thought they knew the rules. When they sit in the class, they come to me like, yeah, I played professional, I didn't know that. They don't know. There's lots of rules and details that they don't know. So there are lots to teach. Here's the funny part. We teach very hard. We taught 5 years very hard, and the program became very strong with knowledge. You go out on the field, mistakes are done. And you look at the guy and say, what was that? And you know what the referee tells you right away? Dang, I missed that one, didn't I? So what we found out that knowledge alone is not enough. Applying your knowledge in a timely manner while you're running on the field is a different story. When your body parts are moving, you can make better decisions looking at things. You can show them video, and you tell them what's that, and they all know after you teach them. But when they're running and the same thing happened, because they're moving and stuff, we found out that the recollection and what they do quickly, because they have to react quickly, they regret it 2 minutes later. And they, 90% of them, find their own mistakes. We just bring it out to them. This is part of coach mentoring. We say, what about that? We ask questions, and they quickly admit guilt and how it should have been. So they know the answer, but they reacted funny. What does that tell us? That tells us it's a long process with long training time. It's gonna take time. But most importantly, we need your participation. Please, give us a hand. Don't just blame your refs. They need education, they need training, they need timing with education. But you gotta help us to start pushing from your side, say, hey, you guys need to get into these programs. There's no reason 64 clubs out of 1,000 are into the program. You're joking? And I brought one of my best friends here, Vala Huerta, who is director of training at the DFC in Congo. And every month they have training. Same with Impact. Every month we have training. How many clubs are short on refs? I guarantee you 90% are short on refs. We're not. We're a healthy program. Why? We have training, we have absorbent, we have things. Also, we are smart. We are in Brentwood, they are in Concord. We talk to each other. Hey, he has some elite refs at this level, and I have some elite refs at this level. Most of the refs are here. But the games are switched. He has NPL games more this week. Hey, can I borrow your top-notch guy? Yes. And give me the others to supply the other. And so on and so forth. And we train them as they run. So communication amongst yourself, you might have, I heard a guy from Lodi, Stockton, Modesta. If you don't talk to each other, first of all, you'll be surprised how many refs you share. You're sharing refs. Maybe you don't know it, but you are sharing. Pleasant and Rage, I was at the tournament last week, and I know because I sent at least half a dozen refs from my group to there, and we work together as a team. They need the elite group. We send them the elite group to tournament like that. So you need to communicate better between your directors of referees too. Build a communication bridge. Elk Grove, I heard Elk Grove, you think you're not sharing refs with Sacramento? I got news for you, or Davis. That's the idea of you being careful when you're building a program. There need to be volunteer or paid position. That word volunteer in the Bay Area, I don't think so. Take that out of your head. And I'm just mentioning this is because the game has developed and elapsed. It used to be, everything to do with soccer used to be volunteer. Doesn't exist. Everybody's making money. We all know we need to admit the truth. It's a business. If you don't think it's a business, you're not here because there is no business. It's a business about making money. Be ready to spend money. Money makes money. You spend money on good refs, you're going to have a good program, you're going to have solid reputation, and your program will move well. Why do you think they spend all this money and everything on the World Cup and all the other things? Now VAR. Because they're finding out that money makes money. Don't hesitate to spend a little extra. Try to avoid that word volunteer. I'm not going to tell you avoid it, because sure, we always need volunteers, all of us. But don't focus on that one. Start thinking the most important places and the most important jobs, you're going to have to spend some money, paid. It's fact. I'm not saying I'm for it or against it. I'm stating facts. So get in with the program. Move on along with the program. Each NorCal has required to have a referee assignment. Everybody. Now, this can be funky. We have a DOC who says he takes a class one day. I'm a referee assigner. He's the DOC. How the hell is he running a referee just because now on the books he's okay? What I'm trying to tell you, just like I'm trying to tell you about putting referees for games, it isn't about fill in the block. It's fill in the appropriate person to that block. When you build the program, think of that. Think of somebody who really has time to do this, who knows his referees, who knows who the referee they serve is, so they can put them in the proper game. Otherwise, you're going to have issues. If your club is having issues and you heard about referee issues or fights, I was involved with Mo. He sends me somebody when they have a problem about how to solve the problem. We discuss it. Every single problem that we had that caused fight on the field, the wrong ref was assigned. What a coincidence. We have something in common. Wrong ref assigned to the wrong game. Having said that, yeah, we need culture change. Sure, we need culture change. I agree with the gentleman there. We need culture change. We need to start accepting parents of under 9 and under 10, coaching their kids from the sidelines, and throwing a temper tantrum fit, and we are accepting it. I don't teach that. I tell them zero tolerance. Zero tolerance as soon as possible. There's a difference. Zero tolerance sending off somebody at the 80th minute. That's zero tolerance sending somebody off at the 8th minute. If you want that culture change, start it early. If you do this in the first 15, normally there's a bad apple, it's going to show in the first 15 minutes. You throw that apple out, it's going to be a good culture change for everybody. No, this is not acceptable. You, the clubs, are expected to support that and not question the referee. Sure, you can question him. He's going to tell, well, the minute they give you that why, please support them. And remember, that's what I teach friends. We can't stop people from throwing temper tantrum. We cannot. If you think you can, you're wrong. You cannot. Somebody has a day off and they're going to throw a temper tantrum. No problem. I tell them, no problem. But they have to do it in the parking lot. No problem. You just go to the coaches, say, that parent needs to go to the parking lot. He wants to throw a temper tantrum. I'm not going to stop him. I'm not going to slap him. I'm not going to hit him. So they are welcome to throw a temper tantrum because they had a bad week or a bad day or a bad evening. But they can't do it anywhere in the surrounding. Why? Because we have parents and grandparents and their mothers and fathers that waited the whole week to come and watch their kids having fun. And we let the bad apple like this do it? Ain't happening. This is how strong I expect the support from the local clubs. You guys need to support your referees 110% when they do something. Because we need to change culture. Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question?
I'm sorry, yes sir.
Let me give you this example.
Yes.
I got a game, and one of my players, got into an altercation, with the other player. They both got yellow card. Life is good, but then a couple of the parents from the other team stepped up into the field, and they started talking to my player. The other team's coach did not do anything at all. We placed the complaint with NorCal. Guess what? The other team's coach just got two game suspension. The parents, nothing.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just asking you a question. How can NorCal do in order to support more the referees? Because those parents, they're gonna continue doing that because they did not get ejected at all.
Yeah, that becomes an education by itself. Because I cannot tell you how this can happen. This can happen simply because our referees are not educated enough how to write a report. I have many good referees on the field that they operate very well on the field. But guess what? When they come to write a report, and lots of them is from different ethnic backgrounds. So English is not their language. Hey, I can relate to them because English wasn't my language. And when they tell me second to last defender, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You mean the last defender except for the goal? So I understand. So sometimes we have these ethnic, very good referees, but they can't write English. So they write a funky report. A funky report is not accepted by NorCal board. That's what happened in this particular case. So when they're not written properly or done properly, then we have problem. This is why we say every club should have director of referees. My advice is every club should have director of referees. Why? Before you send that report, please send it to the director of referees. Let him review your written report. Because your written report can put you in the minus. So it is very important to know how to do things, but we have to do them properly, in the proper order. If you write the report to NorCal referee board, and they can't read it or they can't make sense out of it, they still punish the other guy. This is probably what happened. They still punish the coach because something wrong happened there, but didn't put two and two together, couldn't understand really what this guy's trying to say. So I have seen that before, and I agree with you, it happens, but this is why. This is why I say, please advise your clubs to have a director and or somebody responsible. And before they send the report, any of the referees, check with him, please. Yes.
So like for that instance though, because NorCal can, the referees can, govern the coaches, but when it comes to parents, is it the club responsible for the parents? So they should be writing the club and not the referees?
All our teaching is, and all our rules, including NorCal and everybody else, the coach is responsible of his players, staff member, and parent. So referee is not supposed to go tell the guy, hey, get out of here. Nothing. Go to the coach, remove those parents.
But if the coach is already in trouble, shouldn't they refer to the club? Like maybe write the president or the DOC
And
regarding
that
the
has
parents?
happened. I've seen it has happened before where the coach apologized tremendously and was embarrassed and recommended that the parents be suspended completely from the game. So yes, that's the proper procedure. So there is a procedure. The problem is we need to know it. So the procedure is first you approach your director of referees, who then approaches the board members and the club, and then it's done that way. And then at Impact, 2-3 years ago, we suspended 2 families completely from the club. From the club. One of them took off his shirt and had, what do you call these, beat me, whatever, wife shirt and whatever.
Wife.
And yeah, and what was very easy for me, very easy. They're not in this club. They don't belong in this club. No suspension, no nothing. You show that kind of behavior, I don't want to see you in that club. I recommended it to the board members did it. But it was written properly and was handled properly. So make sure that's handled. Before you go, there was a hand there. Yes, sir.
I just want to make a comment that it's very important for DOCs and presidents to write an incident report to NorCal if there are parents behaving badly, because NorCal will take record of that. I'm at San Francisco Seals, I'm not a NorCal representative, but there was a situation last year where I had a team that got into a team fight, and we wrote up a report about the interaction with the parents, and the team had 3 or 4 other teams that those clubs wrote up that same team, and NorCal put out a suspension, and they also sent specific referees to the very next game to make sure that everything was run on a high standard or up and up. So there is some responsibility of the club as well to let NorCal know, or the referees know, when parents are acting badly, because it is almost impossible really to control what a parent is going to do.
So to answer the question, NorCal referee board is very strong, but they must receive also properly. So there was a missing link in that particular, I promise you. Okay, so that's something for you to understand, consider. Yes, sir, you have a question for me.
Did you suspend the whole family, including the kids, or just the parents?
Unfortunately for the kid, we suspended that whole family, yes. We have suspended everybody, and we apologized for the kid. You know, funny enough, that guy that took off his shirt was supported by his wife. She came barking behind him too. It's like, I don't need that. You know why? It's gonna rehappen again and again. We feel sometimes bad for the kid, but it served the purpose. It sent a message to all the other parents: don't mess with the board. These guys are very serious. Okay, so you will eventually send a message, and listen, you're not gonna happen every time. You're gonna say, oh my God, if we do this, we're not gonna have parents. No, you'll be surprised. You do it one time, just one time. Those will be like, ooh. Everybody after that behaves like Mother Teresa. So don't be scared. You only have to do it once. Yes, sir.
I appreciate what all the referees do and what you guys do and have to put up with. It's very difficult. It's challenging. One thing that I've noticed, and this is just a suggestion, when the coaches of both teams come together first and they talk to each other about their teams and their players and what our goals are today, and then they approach the referee team at the same time, and they talk as adults about what are we doing here today, this is a good start before the game. Oftentimes the referee team is like a separate team. There's 3 teams. There's Ballistic United, there's Elite, there's the referees, and they're all working against each other, and they're not working together. So when you said teamwork, that's great. I used to get the coach together, I'd say, there's not 2 teams here. What do you mean? I go, it's not your team and my team. There's 2 teams here, really. There's the adults and the children. Those are the teams. Let's you and I make sure they both have a good experience.
Yeah.
And right here in San Ramon, we waited for about 45 minutes. We were going to play, I think it was a 77 game against San Ramon, and the referee didn't show up. And we waited and waited, and then we got together and we said, well, we'll referee. I went and got my whistle. He took half the field. I took half the field. If development is the focus, okay, and the game is an extension of practice, when we were both on each half of the field, we were able to teach our kids and talk a little bit during the game. It was the best game of the entire season because we didn't have referees. Not because referees are bad, but when you put referees on a field, it becomes so damn official, okay, and intense, and it becomes so serious, okay? So my suggestion is get rid of referees for anything 7v7 and maybe even 9v9 and make the coaches ref the games. You would have a completely different environment.
I accept everybody's opinion and everybody's way of thinking. You're carrying your own camera, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Please submit this to NorCal, let them review. But I have to tell you this from the bottom of my heart. There is 2 kinds of soccer: competitive that means we need today a result that's official and it's gonna go on the paperwork. And and that doesn't mean rec or competitive. I don't mean competitive meaning competitive only. I mean even rec games that gonna be on record and gonna be recorded. And any game that has competition for the game, in order it to be official, must have a licensed referee. I did not write this rule. You want to make NorCal change their mind or whatever, then they have to change. But this is coming from FIFA, this is coming from US Soccer that's below FIFA, and this is coming from NorCal who is below US Soccer. We are all under certain umbrella. So you want to play games that are now. How many games have we ever played with no referees? Several. Hey, this side of the room against this side of the room, let's play. Yeah. Hey, sure. Hey, great. This is good. And it's good spirit and good competition. Right now, to my knowledge, the only games that are played with no referees are 5v5 or below. So 7v7 and above are played with the referees. Again, I have nothing to do with this. Don't shoot the messenger, but you can write your request to NorCal. They can decide to support you or decline you. Meanwhile, we're gonna go by this. Meanwhile, you have to have refs. It's not a choice. And you have to have a licensed ref, not a guy with a whistle. Lots of the problems that we have with Liga Latina, with all due respect, because you learn a lot from Liga Latina, is a guy can afford the whistle and a shirt, and he steps on the field. And I have seen that with my own eyes, because I go everywhere on the field. And 90% of the calls, indiretto, a handball, indiretto, indirect. Kicking the leg, indirect. So, one thing is to own a shirt and a whistle, and a step on the field, and you take this side and I take this side. And one thing is, are we gonna really do it officially and have it recorded? I can't tell you what to do in your club or how, but if you want to be official, that's the way it is. As you see, even a two-dual system is not acceptable. Two refs is not acceptable and will not be accepted as recorded. Okay? Either one-man system or a three-man system. That's what's recognized right now. And we are under that umbrella. You are all under that umbrella. Don't fool yourself. If you want to do something different, you're on your own. It won't be recorded. But I love the question. It's a very good question. And things to consider. But, okay, referee assigner. You don't have to be a referee to become an assigner. But it's like anything else. I am against it. I prefer a assigner who not only is a referee or was a referee, who was a player. If you played the game, you even know the field. There's something called field and touch that's different than just learning. I can teach you the book. But if you don't know how much it hurts when a guy hits you in the front leg versus in the back of the leg, you're not going to know how severe you have to punish. Although I'm teaching it to you, but when you get hit, you remember. So I encourage everybody to play the game first, and then become any other part of the game. Okay, this is football. This is what we call soccer. The field, the compassion is different than just, I'm learning to become an assigner. Yep, I learned, yep, I know, you know. It's just my opinion. But you will be legal if you take the class. One thing is to be legal, like I say, one thing is to fill in the block, and one thing is to do it the right way. This person doesn't need to be a ref. So it says, yes, you become legal on paper. You are legal on paper. Is this your object? Is this your object of your club, of your team? That's what you want to be discussing with your board member. Okay, and this is a good telling you DOC, he becomes an assigner and or whatever, and he say, I'm here, I don't need one. And we've seen the devastation and problem of self-assigning. Self-assigning has technique. Some clubs are very advanced and modern and can say you can self-assign, but if you are grade 5, 4 thing, you can do these games. If you are grade 2, 3, you can do these, and so on and so forth. So some clubs have adapted good program of self-assigning. I'm not totally against self-assigning, but I am against self-assigning clubs that they just say fill in the game. That's a major problem. Yes, sir.
You might want to ask if everybody here knows what you're talking about, self-assigning.
Great. Does anybody know about self-assigning? Raise your hand if you know, please, so I know.
So no one else knows.
Oh, so you guys don't know. The others don't even know self-assigning.
They haven't done referee.
Oh, because the other, not knowing self-assigning is scary. Not knowing is better. Because you are under the impression, not knowing that every referee is assigned to the appropriate game. And I hope I can think with you, but believe me, you'll be surprised. Self-assigning, that means you have 60 referees in the club, and you have 30 games, and these guys go on and fill in. He just finished class yesterday, and he wants to be under 17 boys in the middle. The next thing, me and Mo and you, we hear about it in writing, fight on the field. You know, because the guy self-assigned himself on a game it doesn't even belong. So that's weird, that's really scary. So please, I advise you, my advice, get a referee, director, or coordinator. Don't make it too easy for yourself or for the people, because it's devastating. Just simply saying, oh, you guys go ahead, it's open book, here's the games, self-assign. It's easier, sure, but you're having the wrong people in the wrong games. Filippo,
Yes, sir.
is very experienced. I know you have self-assigning system or no?
We do, but we have the ranking.
Here we go, so please.
So practically, I am Filippo Mondo. I am the assigner for the Alsa Force and another small club in the area, in the San Jose area. And beside that, I am also the president of San Jose Soccer Referee Association. So what Bob was talking about, the self-assign. So we have a ranking. So I know, because as Bob, I'm going every single weekend on the field, doing the evaluation, checking and everything. So we have in my roster, we have more or less 500 referees. So, but at the same time, I'm managing more or less 80, 75, 80 games every single weekend. So some weekends, especially in the fall when they have state cup and everything, we have several U16 and above. So what I'm doing right now, well, in the last season, I personally assigned the center ref from U15 and above. So I would like to be sure the person that I'm sending is an appropriate referee, managing the right game. Okay. I'm leaving open the self-assigned, but always for a ranking. So of course the referee who got just the license, he can see only particular game, U8, U9, U10 girls. And up to U10, so 77, we use only one solo ref. So I would like to go sure and secure that the people that I'm sending, we don't have a problem. So as Bob said, as a club, well, we are one of the biggest club in North California. We have zero tolerance. I cannot accept bad behavior from the parents and from the coaches. And so far looks like we won the war. So we have almost zero problem from parents and the coaches. But as Bobby said, we need also to educate and training the referees. We cannot send people on the field only because I would like to have 100% coverage. Doesn't work like that. I prefer having maybe postpone the game and say, hey, for your game, I don't have ref. I don't have the right ref for your game. So can we find a new game, a new date for your game? Maybe it's work much better than send an inappropriate referee for the game.
Thank you.
No problem.
So as you see, some people have mastered that self-assigning system, and I'm very okay with that, you know, because then they know what they're doing versus an open sesame kind of policy. So after all, what's an assigner? It's assigner costs $25, 5 to 6 hours training, and have a license. Each year you renew it by paying online. You don't even have to go to class. So there isn't very much to become an assigner. So it's pretty easy. A guy say, I'm a signer, I'm also the DOC, or I'm also whatever it is, you know, thing. But they don't have time to do this stuff. And they don't have time to do the stuff properly, appropriately. That's the main thing. Otherwise, it's not that complicated. Yes, sir.
Kenyatta couldn't make it today, so I'm kind of filling in for him. So on these, Kenyatta couldn't make it today?
Yeah.
Kenyatta Scott, so he's the charge of assigning for your state.
Richford is,
And so basically, what he wanted me to tell him, this part of it right here is, so if you have people and you don't have an assigner, and like it's a brand new person, like Bob said, they may not be a ref or anything like that. So what you want to do is, if you have that brand new assigner, same thing like we have mentors for the referees, but there's going to be mentors for your assigner. So that way they don't have to learn it from the ground up. And whatever type of assigning system, there's multiple assigning systems they can use. So you can just contact Kenyatta Scott, and I'm sure Mo will give you that information. And that way, if you have a brand new assigner, because we have anybody brand new club here, a relatively new club, good. But if you're replacing your assigner because you have issues or anything like that, you can always work with Kenyatta, and he'll find a mentor to help you with whatever assigning system. That way, you'll have a very successful program. So that's, you just want me to chime in once in a while in case of stuff like that.
also, NorCal has game officials. So in order to assign yourself, you need some kind of system that we use. And all of us, we use different systems. Us, Impact at Brentwood, we use Ref Scheduler. NorCal in general uses, that's Moshify, uses game officials. Arbiter is used by lots of college people. So we have different programs. You are welcome to use any one of them, or all of them. And Mo says you are welcome to use game official for assigning, but not for paying. See, most of these systems, they also set up a system where how much we owe you at the end of each month. Or some clubs pay every 2 weeks, we pay once a month. So it'll add up your games, so, and you can review it yourself, and then we pay you according to what we owe you, because it's already on the thing, and it's excellent record keeping for everyone. So it keeps the record of how many games you did, which games, and how much you get paid, and so on and so forth. We recommend, please, do not be more than 1 month before you pay. In other words, no more than 1 month. Pay the referees what you owe them. We have received a couple of complaints last year from clubs that were 2 months behind. I don't know the exact date, 5, 6 weeks, 7, 8 weeks. Not good. Not good for your referee program. You start seeing your referees bailing out. So please be prompt. What is your referee assignment going to do here is we have 13,000 refs in Northern California. So if you are worrying why our system is not yet so very healthy, because we tend to teach 700, 800 of them, maybe 1,000, and we miss 12,000. So it's a large area with large group. We have Reading, we have Chico, we have Eureka, we have Fresno, so it's a wide system. So I was just with Mo, I'm putting a new system now, a new program, to where we are gonna send refs, coach mentors, like myself and Alberto, to these areas. Alberto was one of my teammates also when I ran the other program, and we were going all over teaching that program. You want to make a comment about that, Alberto?
Talking about the
Coach Menton.
Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the academy was, the referee academy was a unique program that we developed, CNRA developed for the referee community, and we divided the northern part of the state in different regions to provide instruction at the club level. So we would go to the clubs and we would provide instruction directly to the referees at all levels. It was an open invitation, no fees were charged, and it was only in the hands of nationals and internationals only. Those were the instructors. So we would develop schedules. We would have these instructions every, what was it, 3 months?
Yeah.
We had
3 months.
3 or 4 per year. So they would have the dates in advance, and they would be invited to participate, and we were all over. We were all over the state. And we did it for 3 years or so, more or less, until things changed. But it was very successful, and the feedback was fantastic. Everyone was very happy. The instruction was for all the different rankings, for all the different referees, so it was not selected, and it was given for all the for everyone to apply. So there was no discrimination in terms of what games can would apply for that particular instruction. It was everything for everyone. So everyone was involved. Everyone was inclusive. Like in the past, things were changed. Things changed. So this was open to everyone, and it was very, very successful. Topics would change from one training to the next. It was focused to a specific topic with videos, with PowerPoint presentations prepared in advance, and everyone throughout the state would receive the same instruction. So it was a very, very good program. I was very happy to participate in it, with it, and hopefully we'll do something similar soon, because it was something that everyone would benefit from. And clubs were very receptive to this. They were very supportive. They want us to come. So we never had any negative comments. We should look into having this with NorCal. I think everyone would benefit. Referees, coaches, administrators, everyone, and parents included.
Thank you. We were just talking, me and Moshe Pai, a couple of weeks ago about this, and yes, we are going to come with a very similar program, because right now, NorCal group of referees are not satisfied with the amount of training they're getting as per group. We understand there's a training program, but it seems to be focused on a small group of people, and we want to reach to everybody. So we're going to expect us to be coming to your clubs in the near future. And we know lots of people in your area, of course. Everyone like Chico, I heard Chico, Francisco Avalos is one of your assigners, yes?
Yes.
We worked with him in college for all the million years, so we know each other very well. And so we will be working with people prominent in your areas as well. One clinic at least is recommended to be a referee, the laws changes every year. FIFA changes the laws every year, so a little bit. And offside has been changed for the last 30 years once a year. So when you see a call and you think you know what offside is, I got news for you. It's been changed. So in order to keep up with all this, we encourage that once a year we update everybody with the latest information from FIFA, directly from FIFA and US Soccer, and directive from US Soccer. Like one of you was saying, lots of clubs don't even know about the updates of directive from US Soccer with regard heading and all this. So the purpose of the clinics and the purpose for us traveling around the state is to update everybody with all this stuff. And sometimes just a reminder, maybe they heard about it or they know, but a fresh reminder with more details, information. Sometimes you hear something and you read something, but it's not clear. We clarify it in detail. Okay, so that's healthy program. So what do you need to do for your club? This is host a referee clinic, first of all. In order to host a referee clinic, you have to register with CNRA and assign an instructor to you. They charge you $300 right now. I don't know if it changed. But they charge you for an instructor that comes and teaches in your club. NorCal has sponsored several of these classes themselves. But this is essential because I heard a couple of you here were just forming a club or it's less than a year old and you're not taking referees seriously. Do it seriously. You do need referees. You need local referees. I've been asked by several clubs in the area, not exactly where we are, but in the bigger area, to help them out with refs. And when I say, okay, I'll send you refs, meaning I'm going to send you a center ref, I expect you to supply at least the AR, because the referees I assign, they're going to travel, at least supply the AR. So you have to have from within your own group assistant referees to handle. And guess what? They don't even have that, some of them. Like, it's very difficult for me to send AR for you because they get paid less and they don't want to travel to get paid less. They can do it in their backyard. So each club must be responsible. You must think, you must have a class and have at least the core referees that can do ARs, and then the center referee will come and help you, but they will be more experienced. So we can supply you, both me and Mo and others as well. Rick, maybe they ask you the same in similar area. So these are, Filippo, you too, in your area you have several outlets, so that they ask for refs. So we supply, it's a big family, we are one big family. So we supply refs that are able and capable for those level of games that we're looking for. And this is the current price, you know, for this year. It could be different next year. But like you see, NorCal sponsored lots of these. If you need the money and or the sources, you need to get hold of Mo Shafai. Mo's a great guy. His interest is we need to improve those refs and get them going. He'll do whatever it takes, and he'll fight for all of your clubs, all of us involved, in order to get things done properly. So please don't hesitate. Again, if I'm asking from you one thing in this today, is participation. Talk to us, communication. Don't just listen to us. It's not one-way communication. It's a bridge. Let us know your needs, let us know where we can help, and we are more than glad to do it. Okay? This is what's expected from your club. You have to give us a classroom so we can teach in it. You have to give us a field. We discovered 6-7 years ago when we were doing the program that people are sponge and learn much more on the field than in the class. In the class, they tend to fall asleep, and or especially after lunch. Look how active you are now. I promise you, after lunch, you're not going to be this active. I'm glad I'm talking now. Okay? Half of you will be taking a snooze after lunch and or hearing half what I'm saying. So we find out that we put them out in the field, they learn more. And we show them actual, look, this is how it looks. Here's the line, here's the thing, and guess what? They learn much faster and better. That was our experience. We're gonna repeat that same experience, but we do expect you to supply us with field and classroom. Both are needed. It's very easy about passing a course, and all the assigners here know if you pass a course online, you're already a referee. You don't need a badge. They are always, with 14,000 refs now, on back order with badges. Don't ask me why, but they don't have enough badges. So assigners know to accept the referee that passed the test without a badge. No problem. We're good with that. Okay. These prices, or whenever you see this, or the times, and they don't believe them. Those 2-3 weeks can become 4 to 6 weeks, and $60 next year can become 7. I don't know. You know, these are out of my control, out of our control. But you have a center source, Moshe Fai. Reach out to him. Ask the question. Ask for help. We'll do it. Whether it's Chico, Redding, Eureka, Fresno, we don't care. San Francisco, yell, we are here to help. We're talking about assigners and responsibilities. Yes, Rich.
So Bob, the thing is, if you ask Mo to have a course for you, and he assign you an instructor, whoever your referee assigner is, or the DOC from your club, make sure that instructor sends you actually the people that actually passed your course, because you won't get that information on the instructor. The only person that has the state and the actual instructor has that information of actually the students that actually passed the course. And that's been kind of a big disconnect.
Yeah,
We're training people. Go ahead, Bob.
I'm gonna go on that because they don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
What Rich is talking about is when you pass the test, we fill up a form that goes directly to CNRA. So the authorities know that you passed the test and you're already a rep. Your local assigner doesn't know. And guess what? I have a class in Brentwood, but I have referees from Stockton, San Francisco, Pleasanton. Now they go back to their assigners. Their assigners have no clue. So be aware, be alert that although the registration, the main hub knows you are a referee already without a badge, your local assigners might have no clue. So ask in your class who's from different areas so they are supplied. So if I have assigners from, refs from San Francisco coming, I send Rich, these guys were in my class, they passed. Stockton, Chico, whatever, so and so on and so forth. You'll be surprised how many people come from different places. In one particular class that I had this year, we had 41 students, 23 of them were not from our area. So large, almost more than the ones we had from our area in my class. So, and they were from everywhere, San Jose, some of yours, a couple, yes. So what we do is make sure we communicate this to each other. Again, it's all about communication. It's about building that puzzle we're talking about. It's about that teamwork, net of teamwork. If you think I can do this stuff by myself without his help, their help, his help, I cannot do it. It's teamwork. Maybe I can, but it won't be as good. Even if you think you can, it won't be as good. Not anywhere close. Synergy. Use it. That's communicate and advice, and everyone can put their own little thing. Each club is different, and this becomes very interesting. I'm going to let John Richter in a minute make comments on it, but because he's the Region 3 and 4 advisor. But we have this problem in Region 3 and 4 especially. It's pay scale. You probably have it down there. Pay scale, what happens here? We have different, very different demographics close to each other. So let me give you an example. I'm from Brentwood area. The clubs around me are Antioch, Oakley, Pittsburgh. Those are every referee, when I say, who is here to make money? What do you think the class did? All of them are there to make money. It's very simple. Nice, easy. Now I have an ACE card in my pocket. I know they want to buy an iPad or an iPhone, that's why they're here, you know, or things. So I got it. Okay. So now you get an in. Well, guess what? Right here in the same area with us, we have Danville and Black Hawk and stuff, and John Havlick, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine. He's the director of the club there. And you ask, and who's here to make money? Holy cow. I say, John, what's your ace? How do you make these guys? They don't care. Their parents give them everything they want. So I'm like, now I am, what the hell is going on in this place? So I asked, I say, so why are you here? Their answers, my parents forced me. Or, way better than it gets better, it gets better. The club insists one from our team has to be here. And guess what? They picked that thing. So they were forced to go there. And I'm looking at John, I say, John, you have 45 here. How many of these, they actually respond to your email when assigning games? He says 5. He's lucky. So they have people, just because you have people graduate, you have to understand how to bring them in, your retention. So you need to start thinking of out of the box, like he does, becomes out of the box ideas of why. So, John, you are very experienced with that. It's yours. It's your field. Come on, John.
Thank you for the preparation and letting me know in advance I was going to do this.
John Richter is responsible for Region 3 and 4.
You want me up there or you want me here?
Oh, no, you can come up here. You're very welcome. Yeah. It's good to have this team membership. Each one can put his own thing. Yeah.
My name is John Richter. Longer I talk, it should be fairly obvious to you that I'm not from NorCal Region 3 and 4. But what I'm doing, I'm the referee coordinator for Alameda Soccer Club, which is also part of the Jack London Youth Soccer League. What I did was approach NorCal Region 3 and 4 about the referee program that we were trying to build within Jack London to develop, educate, and train referees. And one of the driving forces behind this is, as a referee coordinator in my first year, this is my 4th year with Alameda, hosted the grade A clinic, had a bunch of 25-ish referees, new referees come into the system. The Jack London global standard, if you will, is that they have to start at certain levels for their first games. Their first games are U12 rec games. So it became very apparent that once you do a class in whenever it was 2014, 2015, and you've got a whole bunch of new referees starting out in their U12 rec games as ARs, what happens when you come to the next year? You've got another 25-ish who now need to compete for the same games as those last year. How do you move these up in a progression? And one of the things I came up with was to have essentially education training, because I've got to take 25 potentially new referees from the year before and find a way to move them up so that they're doing maybe U12, maybe a centre, maybe they're doing U13, 14 on the rec side. How do you take that and then take them from the rec program into the competitive program? What I came up with basically a method of educating and training them. How do you train referees? Particularly the education side, you can do all of this and it works. Get them out in the field, train them. How do you train referees? You've got 25 referees, and at any given point in time, you are only training 3. 2 ARs in a center. What I did with NorCal Region 3 and 4, which is why I'm involved in it now, as in referee development program for NorCal Region 3 and 4, is took a team approach. I was a coach for 14 years. I was also a CYSA coaching instructor for 5 years. One of the things I found in coaching is if you've got a team of 18 players, you better not have half of them standing there staring into space playing with their iPhones or whatever it is these days. Keep them involved, and that was the premise of the referee training program. One of the things that became obvious outside of Alameda within Jack London, which is a very affluent part of the Bay Area, the rest of it is not necessarily true. What are the impediments to getting young referees especially to participate in a referee program? One of them is a financial impediment. First thing you got to do is pay a registration fee. It's not everybody that can pay the 65, 75, whatever it is, dollars this year. What can we do to mitigate that and also get them involved and pay that expense for them? You're taking a chance, you're doing it for somebody who may or may not do a single game. But you've also got to take the chance that maybe 4 out of 5 will. The other impediment is a uniform. Because that's $65, and that's assuming you get the OSI generic starter kit. Because a referee uniform can easily cost, if you go for the latest and greatest blah blah blah, can easily be over $100. So with those two things in mind, how do you get those that aren't as financially well off to be able to do it? And my approach to that is if you've got to get them in, you take the chance and you lay that money out for them. We also have a program where if they do X amount of games per season, particularly the fall season, then we will also reimburse them the re-registration fee for the following year. If you take those three things into account, especially if they do a spring class, you're paying $65 for the sake of argument registration. You're paying something in the same region for the uniform, which is now up to $130. And if you add the re-registration for the following year, that's $200. You get youth referees doing games, and they essentially, if you look at it from a certain perspective, are $200 in the hole before they've done their first game. They've got to do at least 6, 7, 8 games before they can even break even. One of the things I think we need to do is bring them in, eliminate the financial barrier, educate and train them, even to the point where if they come to the training, they prove that they're improving, they go up to the next level, you also give them a bonus per game, another maybe 2, 3, 4, even $5 a game. Money doesn't solve all problems, but it does remove impediments potentially. And the idea of putting all that together potentially keeps referees in the game and doing them year over year. Because with youth referees especially, assuming for the sake of argument they start at 14 or 15, you've done it for 4 years. When they graduate high school, they're going to college. So what happens to the next bunch that we're coming through? Depending on where they go to college, maybe you can keep them involved. Or if they come back home afterwards, you've got to build a foundation and not just throw them out there, let them figure it out for themselves, and hope that they come back at some point. You're investing in their education and time as a referee program, which also benefits the program itself.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much.
Okay,
all this, you're hearing different people talking from different things. What does that tell you? We have problems. We have shortage of refs, and we have problems. We're trying to see what it takes to retain them. So when you are building your club and or you think about that, I promise you, without knowing who your clubs are or whatever, you short on refs. Why? Because 90% of the people are short on refs. You're not going to be any different. And again, you are at least short on appropriate refs to do the games if you're not short on refs. But many of the clubs are short on refs, period. So it's very important for you to know who's your next door club and who's your thing and what's your competition. And instead of making it competition, bring them in. Instead of a club is paying $60 for a referee and you thinking, hey, the next door club is paying 60, I'll give them 70. Instead of doing that, why don't you talk to the director of referees and say, hey, why don't we combine them? These are the same refs, we can use them both. You know, we don't want to start money wars. Bad idea. It's happening, it's already happening, too late, but we don't encourage it. We encourage, please build the communication and a system with your closest people and the closest clubs and try to work together instead of against each other. Competition is tough, yes, but when it comes to referees, don't compete, combine, everybody show. You're not the only one. That's lesson to learn. What does it take to be a ref? As you can see up there, very clear. Go to class, learn, get your thing. That's just the beginning, of course. And John already talked about age problem and all kind of retention, why we lose refs. Some of it are natural. That's how it's gonna be. You know, people move on. The good ones stay. The good refs. Okay. This is what I've been telling you. We've been preaching this. Try to use them. Don't give a referee, whoever is running your referee program, they have to be really aware. This is why they should go to Kenyatta Scott class and for Rich Fern, because they will learn from them that, hey, you can't give a guy a game at 9 o'clock, tell him to come back at 5. He's gone to the club next door. He's bye-bye. He or she are gone. For some reason, our experience, female holds better loyalty than male. So female that works for a club, they seem to stay with that club more than a male would. A male will leave you in a heartbeat for $5 more. You know, which is, hey, that's the way it is. I'm not saying bad or good, I'm giving you facts. So you be aware for your clubs, what you face. Okay? Scheduling is so important. So it's very important for you to go and learn really about scheduling. You know? Here, what do we do? We have all the games in the morning, nothing in the afternoon. So I use each ref 1 game per day because all the games are about the same time. What does that do me any good? The next club next door, they give them game at 9, 11, and 1. Guess where they're gonna work? You're not gonna see them. It doesn't take scientists to tell you. It doesn't take nuclear engineering. Okay, so that's why you should learn proper assignment and schedule. Different times, so different fitness. So if you don't have a training program, good luck. You're gonna have people refereeing from the center circle, doing you no good. You'll have to build a program. And enough rest period and enough hydration. We are in an area where it's very easy to be 105, 107, different than San Francisco. Rich can give people 5 games because it's always 50 degrees. So, you know, it ain't gonna happen in our area.
I guess they was 59.
There you go. So think about all these that need to be taken into consideration. The zero policy, we don't have to really go on it far. We're becoming very strong about it, adamantly strong about it. This is what we adapted with Moshe Fai last year. This is new. Coaches hate it. Welcome to the club. What? We'll tell you why coaches hate it. Because we are saying, when we have a problem with the parents, somebody said parents or coaches. When we have a problem with the coaches, it's easy. You know what the coaches. When we have problem with the parent, in the past, the parents used to be all on that side and the coaches on this side. So a parent with a red hat on the upper area give a referee problem. The referee doesn't know who's that parent. He goes to coach, hey, is this your parent? Say no. Is he your parent? Say to the other coach. Say no, I don't know. This has happened. They're not lying. The coaches aren't lying. Families disperse. There's a divorce in the family or whatever. And they only see the mother and or the father. And all of a sudden they see the father that's coming who lives in a different area to watch one game, and he's drunk out of his head and acting thing, and neither coach know him. Hey, and the referee say, well, you gotta get him out of here. He said, well, I don't know. I don't want to deal with him. So this has happened in the past. Now, how long does the game have to stop while they're trying to figure out all this? Oh, it's the guy, which guy? Oh, it's the guy back there with the red hat. So now we developed this program. It's been fantastically great so far. We tried it this spring for the first time. This will be the first real season trying it next month. It's starting next month. Where we are encouraging all clubs, now I know we have problem, I know. But we are encouraging all clubs to have the supporter seating next to here. Now, if a parent from this side yells boo, does he belong to that coach? Or does he belong to this coach? So the coach has to step 10 yards to handle that parent from that side. We presented this to a bunch of coaches, me and Moshafai, earlier this year. What do you think the coaches say? Hell no, not just no. Hell no, I don't want to do that. Say, why? I don't want to deal with the parent. Welcome to the club. But you want the referee to deal with the parent. So we know we have problems. We know clubs are going to resist it. But it's minimum delay, minimum time. This way the games, we have many games are behind each other. If it's going to take me 5 minutes to handle one parent, then now the game behind us is delayed. Now 5 minutes, the next game, you're going to be an hour delay at the end of the day. So by doing it this way, it's quick, handled properly, and guess what? We tried it in the spring, it works smooth. You know why? The parents are scared. The coach is right there. He's looking at them. He's got one. Ooh. So, hey, we encourage it. Please try it. Now, we have a couple of venues where they had already, on that side, let's say, they already have a stadium, seating. Hey, we're not going to switch. You know what? We can't tell you what to do as clubs. We're giving you the option, but we're trying to tell you what works. Okay, so do you have to do this? No. Do you want to help yourself? Yes. Suggestion, ideas? Yes. Are we gods of soccer? No. Do you want to give us something, other ideas? We'll take it. We'll work on it and we'll filter it. We're working with you as a team, yes.
So, are you saying that this is just a suggestion?
Just a suggestion, yes, sir.
Now.
Now.
Okay.
We, by the way, we have also submitted it to you as soccer for evaluation. So they can look at it at the big picture also, not just here. But right now, we use it at NorCal. Yes, sir.
So last year, 2 coaches on the top, all went to the bottom.
Yes.
How many years was that in place?
How many what?
Last year's approach? For how many years did that happen?
That was for about, since we know soccer, right?
Yeah, so this is the first time.
And somebody said earlier, Nick said change. Everybody, what happens when you say the word change? Oh, no. I'm telling you, me and Mo submitted it to a bunch of coaches earlier this year in the thing, and the coaches say, no, no. You know, so change was scary. Second of all, the parents were too close. Hi, Brett. Brett is ex-Stanford coach, and I refed his game several times. He yelled at me several times.
No, never. My favorite referee.
Thank you. But, yes, sir.
No, but this is just a suggestion, you know, let's say, you know, my club imposes that. What about if visiting team doesn't want
Yes,
to do that.
yes,
So
we had this
I
issue
mean, my
too.
question is this, can we impose that and say this is how it's gonna get done here in our field?
Yes.
Now,
Remember, each host club, the host club decides. The visiting team has no say. So if a visiting team comes and you say, no, this is the way we have it set, he has no say or she has no say. The hosting club decides. So if you go to another club that don't have the same, you can't tell them, no, in our club we do it this way. Again, it's only a suggestion, and each club has the right to run their system. For now, it's not a law, it's not a must, it's a suggestion. Yes?
So we actually did this in my previous club. We did it for several years, and it was extremely effective. Incidents with parents on the sidelines dropped massively. What you get away from is kind of the crosstalk of one parent group to another, and like that escalation that'll happen. The other issue is like, hey, I don't know about everybody else, but like when I'm coaching a game, I couldn't begin to tell you what's going on across the field and what's being said from across the field. Like I don't hear that, I can't hear it from over there. Sometimes there's noise. So you really do keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on with your parent group. And this is about coaches having a little more accountability and responsibility of what's going on with the parent group. It's very effective. Yes, coaches complained about it. Yes, absolutely away teams complained. And we actually had to arm all of our coaches with, in writing, policy of, yeah, here's, when the coach from out of town comes and complains about this, here's something to show them that like, you do have the authority to do this. And people would grumble, but you know what, at the end of the day, like, this was an environment safety, player safety type initiative that is extremely effective. And yeah, for us purists, like, yeah, it's not supposed to be this way, and it's supposed to be, with the other team next to us. But it works. I do suggest when you set it up, you see how like the technical areas on one side of the half line and the support areas on the other side. Even put cones between the two to kind of really designate, hey, parents, don't come into the technical area, because you'll run into that a little bit. They'll kind of seep in. The next thing you know, they're like talking to their kid behind your bench if you're not careful. So it's like you have to do little things to be careful with it like that. But I certainly would advocate for trying it. Bob, we do need to.
Yeah, we got it done, but just to let you know, we didn't put here any dimensions. The fact is, the technical area here this is 20 yards from here, because from here to here is 10 yards, and has to be 10 yards from this. The technical area has to be 10 yards from the middle field. So the technical area is 20 yards out to 10 yards here, and then 10 yards, nobody is behind this line. The supporters, this area. If you notice, this also prevents the AR from being nagged about from behind his back, like the old style where people are behind your back nagging the AR. You're the worst. Referee, I'm saying you're the worst AR. So most important decisions by the AR are made in the last 30 yards. In this case, it never will have somebody bugging you behind your back. If there is a goal scored because of offside or not offside, and your focus is clear, you are 30 yards from where goals are mainly scored from, without anybody bugging you. So your focus is very clear, versus where parents are behind your back all the time. So this was thought of thoroughly. So we'd like you to take a picture of it and consider it thoroughly in your clubs, please. And like you said, so far it has been very effective in the spring. Yes.
Why is NorCal reluctant to make this standard rule? Why are we leaving it to us as a club to implement it? Just let's wait and it'll happen, or?
There's debate.
Okay.
I mean, there's kind of the soccer purists and how the game should be and those kinds of things. And so
I am going to give you some answers we received from people. One of them is we already have seating on the other side. We don't have seating on this side. We don't want to change the stadium. Example, one. Another one said, this is not going to work where we are because we have another field behind us this way. People come, when you hear of change, people come up with all kind of excuses because they fear of change. So we right now, we're not going to put it as a rule. We're going to see how it works. Let's get a year or so feedback. We haven't done it the whole season yet. This was spring. Okay, so I think before you do any big change, you need to really get some feedback and hopefully positive. Yes, sir.
This is really weird and strange because for 10 years ago, up to just 5, this is the way that we always used to play. And when we went to tournaments, people were like, no, you can't do that. And I'm like, this is weird. Now that we just recently changed 5 years ago, going back to this, people are going to be confused, not because
But
it's
this
new,
system,
but
this
because
system
it was the old
existed
thing.
sporadically before, so we didn't invent it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We used to do it a long time. So.
Yes.
You know, sometimes, you know, it's, for some of the clubs, it's all about winning the game, and they try to find any skills, you know. So now, the question for you is this, you know, this is just a suggestion. I can go and impose that. What about if the other team, you know, place a complaint about this here, you know, with NorCal?
Yes.
So what
They
would
have the
NorCal
right to complain. Your
perspective
answer
on
to them is yes, this is our club, but you have the right to complain. Everybody has the right to do whatever they want to do. Let them complain, let them tell them why we told them no. Or why.
All right.
Yeah, you do your job and let the rest take its place. You know, we have
That's what I want to hear, that you say you would tell them no.
we have an administration in order. So we have things in order. Do they have the right to complain? Yes, they do. Hey, coach, I have no problem. You don't like it, no problem. Please write NorCal. Tell me why you don't. So we are open, like I say, we want your feedback, and feedback isn't always positive. It's okay. We'll take the negative. We'll learn from it. Maybe we'll learn something. It's no problem. For now. Okay.
I hate to interrupt the referee, but yeah.
We're done for the day. Thank you very much. Good job. Yes, sir.
How would I contact you?
I'm sorry?
If I needed to contact you, how would I contact you?
Okay. My name is in the book. It's open book. Robert Sabella at hotmail.com. Very easy. Robert Sabella. Sabella's 2 L's. It's Italian, not Spanish. Sabella at hotmail.com. And if you push my name, you will get my phone number, my home address, everything else. It's welcome to social media. You can get all my info from one push of the button. Yes, sir.
I was just going to ask you if we can have a copy of this presentation, no?
Take a picture.
Yeah, we're gonna put it online. So all the we're gonna put the presentations online, and I can maybe show later where you can find all this stuff. Thank you, Bob.
Yes, sir.
Another round of applause, please follow the referees.
Good luck, man. Good luck. Let's be in touch.
Okay, so real quick, we're gonna go into lunch, and here's my kind of request or challenge for everybody. I find anytime I go to coach education or club education or any kind of thing, it's always, you learn from the presenters and the topics that are being presented, but I think of equal value are the people sitting next to you and around you. So grab some lunch, grab something to eat, and I encourage you to mix it up, dump your date that you came here with, and talk to some other people from other clubs, share some ideas. We're gonna get rolling again at 12:45, so you got about 40 minutes. There's salad, sandwiches, there's some waters over here. Please eat as much as you possibly can, because we have a little too much food. Help yourselves. Thank you.